morning, Professor Shin. Good morning, fellow colleagues. We are very much privileged and honored to present Uganda, our country, the pearl of Africa, or you can say the beauty of Africa. The Republic of Uganda, this is the national flag of Uganda, and this is the coat of arms of Uganda. Black represents the color of Ugandans. We are blacks and we are proud of that. The yellow color represents the abundant sunshine that supports agriculture in Uganda. And in the middle we have the Uganda crested crane, the Uganda bird. It is a symbol, a national symbol. You see, that bird always stands with one leg, which is a symbol of going forward. Uganda is moving forward, is developing. And the white color represents peace. Uganda is a very peaceful country in Africa, and the people are very hospitable. Then the coat of arms, the shield and the spear represents the items used to defend Africa, to defend Uganda, to the last man. And then in the middle, it is the sun, which I've already explained, which will receive sunshine almost throughout the year. Then the drum at the bottom of the shield is a symbol of dancing and a symbol of communication. So the drum is very important. When there is a meeting, we always use a drum. It is common in most villages. It is a symbol of communication. Then on this side, we have the national animal, the cob, which represents the abundant wildlife. I'll explain, my colleague will explain more about the tourism in Uganda, which is we depend on tourism because of the abundant wildlife. Then the other side, I've already explained to you the national bird. Then the blue stream, the blue waves, represents the abundant water, Lake Victoria and Lake Albert. And then down at the coat of arms, we have the blue stripes, which represents the source of the Nile, the longest river in the world, and its source is in Uganda. It trails down to Egypt. Yeah. And down again we have the most important crops, the cash crops of Uganda, the coffee and cotton. And then our motto, for God and my country. Uganda is a godly country. So going forward, the geographical location. Uganda is located in East Africa, bordered with South Sudan in the north, in the east, Kenya, in the west, Democratic Republic of Congo. South, we have Tanzania, and southwest, we have Rwanda. So those are our neighbors. About leadership, we've had several presidents, and the first president of Uganda was Selemoni, actually, because he was a king of Uganda kingdom. You know, during that time, Uganda resisted colonialism a lot, and the Uganda kingdom was the stronghold of the region because the kingdom was very organized, and the subjects were very submissive to the kingdom. So what the whites did was to create division, divide and rule. So they created another system of governance, the president's prime minister. So he was made a president, which was contradictory to the norms of the tradition. So he became the first president. The story is very long, but in the process, he was murdered by the then government of President Milton Obote. And then we had after Milton Obote. This was Obote 1. We have had a lot of conflict, internal conflict. Then we had the great president, disliked by the world, but most liked by many Ugandans, because he was smart, if I may say, but a dictator, no nonsense person. And most importantly, he was very patriotic, not educated, but very patriotic and strong. So actually, I think he's the most decorated president in the world. The Field Marshal, the conqueror of the British Empire. So, and then we have, next we had the next president, Yusuf Chilonde Lule. This one, he was there for a very short time, from April, that is 1979 to June 20th, 1979. Then next we had President Godfrey Rukongwa Binaisa. He also ruled for a very short time, because these were educated people. They had a lot of ideas, but there was no work. They didn't know about anything to do with governance. So next, the person who was overthrown and exiled came back again. So we call him the second Obote, or we call Obote 2. That is between 17 December 1980 to 27th July 1985. So he maneuvered and came back because of the international criticism of the other president. So we thought he was better, so he had to come back. And he was more educated, he was experienced, so he maneuvered and came back as a president during that time. After that, he was overthrown by the president, Tito Okello Lutwa, who was also in the army. He was overthrown. But currently, we have, since 1985, we have the great president of Uganda, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He's a Pan-Africanist. Most Africans can testify. He's a revolutionist, and he has brought a lot of change in the country. Actually, in the region, East African region, I think Africa, Uganda is considered among the most peaceful countries, with a strong army supported by USA. So actually, we have contributed to peace in the region because of his government. The population of Uganda is 45.7 million, and the population growth rate is around 3.3, with the youngest population in the world, second youngest population in the world. Then the life expectancy is 68.5 years, and then the literacy level is at 76.5. And the area of coverage, the area coverage of Uganda is 241,037 kilometers square. Then we have a tropical climate with temperatures falling in the range of 25 to 29 degrees Celsius. That is on average. Uganda's economy is on recovery, as you all know, because of COVID-19 pandemic, and the size of the economy has increased to $34 billion in the financial year 2020-2022. This is supposed to be around 2021-2022. Then before it was $32.5 billion in the financial year of 2019-2021. In terms of gross domestic product, the Uganda National Bureau of Statistics shows that the economy grew by 3.8% during the current financial year, that is 2021-2022, compared to the previous GDP growth of 3.3% in 2021. This is the trend of, you can see, because of the pandemic, I've told you, there is a challenge whereby the poverty rate has really increased, and we are trying to recover. With the inflation all over the world, the country is struggling to recover through agriculture. So Agriculture plays a very big role, and it is critical for provision of employment, food security, export earnings, raw materials for industry. Currently, it contributes about 25% of Uganda's GDP. In 1970s and 1980s, incomes from commercial agriculture were seriously eroded due to political instability, mismanagement, and lack of adequate resources. As I told you, I explained to you between that period where we had the changes in government, the government of former President Idi Amin, because of his policy of giving the economy back to Ugandans, he expelled most Asians and most foreigners. And there was a very serious problem because Ugandans never had any experience to manage business. So within 6 months, the economy collapsed because there was no experience to manage. And very many people lost, especially the Indians. But currently, the current president, he gave back all the property and he called back all the foreigners who had been chased away, and all the land, the properties have been given back to the owners. And that's why the economy is now picking up. Next, Uganda is an agriculture-based economy and a food basket in the East African region. Agriculture contributes around 25%, as I told you. And agricultural products contribute nearly all of Uganda's foreign exchange earnings, with coffee, of which Uganda is the second Africa's leading producer after Ethiopia. Uganda enjoys tropical weather, which is perfect all year round, with temperatures between this one I told you about. And we have two main seasons. That is the rainy season, that is between March, June, and September, November, every year. The dry season is experienced from December to February and June to July. As I told you, Uganda is a religious country, and there is freedom of worship. You can be anything as long as you don't interfere with someone's right. And the Christianity, Catholics have the highest percentage, followed by Anglicans, then the Muslims, then the Pentecostals, the born-agains, then the Seventh-days, or the Orthodox, then you have the Baptist, and the others. Then also we have the traditional, the African religion. I cannot fail to talk about that. And then these are some of the important religious places. The other one is the Martyrs Shrine. If you Google, you can read about the Martyrs Day in Uganda. These were heroes who fought for religion. They were murdered by then the Uganda king, because he was forcing them to follow the African way of worship, and they resisted. So he murdered. During the day, they were murdered. So, and their remains have been preserved. So they are priests, they are saints, according to the Catholic faith. Then we have the Gaddafi Mosque, one of the most beautiful mosques. I think it is the most beautiful mosque in Africa, donated by the former president of Libya. Uganda is a multilingual country, and one official international language which is recognized, that is English, which is for the government, business, and education. We have 43 living languages. And actually, we have also 4 main families. That is the Bantu, Nilotics, and the Central Sudanic, with another 2 languages in the Kuriak family. So we have a vast culture and very many tribes. Actually, you move around 15 kilometers, you change to another language. I myself, I can speak around a local language, 6 of them. And this is the same to almost Ugandans, because as you move to another place, to one place to another, you have to communicate. So it is a task to learn most of those languages. And not forgetting Swahili. Swahili is an East African language spoken by my brothers in Tanzania, Kenya. So it is also a business language. Of recent, it has been made the African language. The culture is very, very vast, very enormous. So That's why most tourists come to Uganda, because they want to experience. It's like the correction of Africans is in Uganda, all Africans, because of the different culture. So Buganda, where I come from and where my colleague comes from, is, I think, the greatest kingdom and the greatest tribe, because it made Uganda. It is in central Uganda, and the biggest percentage of the people are educated, because they're the people who welcome the colonial masters and harnessed them. So they really studied a lot, and they contributed a lot to the development of the country. Then the Banyankole in the western Uganda, our president comes from this side, the Banyankole, which is 9.6. Then Basoga, they are in the east. The Basoga, these are like, they depend on fishing. And then the Bachiga, these are the Bachiga, it is like the Kangwon of Uganda. I mean, yeah, Kangwon, because they grow a lot of kamuja, Irish, we call them Irish potato. And then the Iteso, these ones are also in the east. Then the Langi, the Bagishu, the Acholi, the Lugbal, and the others. These are the most proud, they are the most common tribes. Next, as you can see, that is how they are distributed. Here, the kingdom of Uganda, we are in kingdoms actually. So, the kingdom, this one is very determinant. It determines who will be the next president, because if you fall out with this kingdom, it means you will never be a president. Then the Lango, the Iteso, like I've explained to you, they are distributed all over, but with very different languages. As I told you, culture, dance, the cymbal, the drum, we are very happy people in Uganda, and we are very hospitable. But we are not always taken for granted, because you hurt me or you attack me at 5, expect me to attack you at 6, because I want always to respect my destiny. Then these are some of the seasonal ceremonies, parties, and then the dances. So I'll play a small video to show you, because this is Culture Day. So we have areas where we gather. So before I play a video, this is how we dress. Like this gentleman, I think most of you have heard about this gentleman. This guy is shaking our president. He's very young. As I told you, it is the youngest, it is the country with the youngest population. He's around my age, around 37 years, but he's really shaking the president. In the previous election, he was the second. So very supported by the young people. So this is his family. This is the wife. The wife is from Rwanda. That's why you see he's dressed like this. I have to, she doesn't want me to speak that, but in Uganda, Rwanda is like Uganda. So they are our relatives, because at the border, the language is almost the same. When she speaks Rwandese language, I can understand very well, and I can speak it. So this is the lady, the wife from Rwanda, is from my tribe, my kingdom. This is the firstborn, the secondborn. Actually, this is how a true Muganda dresses. A Muganda woman. And she didn't come with gomas. And this is how the way I've dressed, how a gentleman in my tribe dresses. And this one is called the kanzu. This one is the kanzu, and the coat combined, we call them the busuti. So on traditional ceremonies, weddings, gentlemen dress like this, and ladies dress like this. So in the other region, the Ankole region, where my president comes from, this is how they dress. We call it Domushanana. And the men dress like this. This is like an introduction day, like wedding, African like traditional wedding. And then this is the Banyolo, the Bunyolo Kitara region. And this is where my mother comes from, and this is how they dress. The gentlemen dress like this and the ladies dress like this. And then this is the Kalamoja region. These are warriors. You don't joke with them. And they are cattle keepers. And I think we share the same border with Tanzania and Kenya. So they are found in Kenya and Tanzania. They are warriors, very intelligent people and very strong people. This is a wedding ceremony. If you are to be selected as a strong man, and this is the lady to be married, you have to jump. You know, they make a circle. They start dancing the traditional dance. The person who jumps the highest wins the bride, takes the bride. So it was a competition. This is a beautiful young lady, and the men, all of these men they were in for this lady. So they have to demonstrate. You have to dance at a very high, and then to win. So that is the culture. So having told you that, I'll play for you a small video that symbolizes our culture, because you said this is Culture Day. As I told you, Uganda is, we have the drum, which symbolizes dancing, communication. Yeah, that's the first one. So I request you to reduce the light in the room. Could you reduce the light in the room? So this is the first part number 1. Then my colleague will take you through part number 2 after the video. So the volume. What about the volume? Is not coming out clearly. No, it's not. So that is the drum. So, I don't know what's happening to the video. I wanted you to listen to the words most important. I mean the volume. Still low. Let's increase a bit. So, this is a famous place in Uganda whereby it is visited by most tourists. Like after work in the night, people gather to experience the culture of various tribes in Uganda. They dance, they talk, with a drink and some eats. I told you about Acholi. So this is Acholi dance from northern Uganda. So letter O is significant in that area. So when you meet someone and tells you Omara, just know the region where he comes from. So the accent, we recognize them from their accent. So they don't have letter L in their accent. So Obama, you know, we have the Luo people, both in East Africa. So for us, we know we can identify each and everyone from different regions depending on the physiology, how someone talks, the appearance, the color. So all the names for the ladies in that region begin with the letter A. So she's from the West. You look at her, she's brown, and the physique. So So those are warriors. You don't joke with them. Don't even try to threaten them, because they'll fight you. So very happy people in their moments. So that's one of a kind culture in Uganda. So Arakaraka is the name of the dance in the region. And they use those, they call them guos. That is the instrument they use for dance and making music, plus the drum. It is the hardest dance. They train for months to perfect it. So many foreigners, when they visit Uganda, they love that place. They always go in the evening to have good time, drink and watch. It is one of the tourist attractions in Uganda. So with the interest of time, allow me stop there and request my colleague to present to you part 2 of our Uganda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'll present about the food and the tourism. One of our most popular traditional foods, which you shouldn't miss when you visit Uganda, should be the luwombo. It's the traditional food from central Uganda, where I come from, but very popular in the whole country. We make it using banana leaves, which you can see there, and we put any meat. And the soup that you see created from meat is actually, you just put chicken there or meat and it will just form. It's a magical traditional food. Served with matoke and peanut stew. Matoke is our staple food, as I can say. It is plantain, as most of you call it, but in Uganda, when you say plantain, no one will know. So when you come, you just say matoke. Everyone will understand. When our president was visiting South Korea, he actually came with matoke. He moves with it everywhere he feels like it's not there. And yes, we serve it also with side dishes like vegetables. And another popular food we have is katogo, or it's more like the Korean bibimbap mixture of everything. So we mix meat, plantain, vegetables, beans, anything, just mix everything together, and it's called katogo. And then the avocado also alongside it. Very, very nice meal for breakfast. We call it chancha, something like that. And we have a popular snack called Rolex. I know most of you know Rolex for our watch, but in Uganda it's food. So it's we have actually set the World Guinness Book of Records, making the largest in the whole world. We make it from chapati. I know my friends from East Africa know chapati, and maybe India or Nepal. Yes, so chapati, and then we have egg and mix with vegetables. So it's in the second picture, right there. This one, Rolex. Then we have ugali, or yes, ugali, what most people know as ugali. Africa, that is it. It's also one of the foods that you'll find, served with beans, meat, or anything. And always, Ugandans don't miss matoke. As you can see, it's there. Matoke, everywhere. And then we also eat grasshoppers. I don't know how many of you eat grasshoppers. We eat grasshoppers and ants, so that is one of the strange things in Uganda, but they are very mushy, so you should taste them. Yes, and then we have pilau. Maybe people from Nepal know that. And I think we got it from India, because we had very many Indians coming in Uganda in the early days. So this we got, it's not really Ugandan tradition, but yeah, we enjoy it. And then our tourist attractions, we have the source of the River Nile, as you all know, the longest river in the world. My brother has already talked about that. We have 8 other rivers. We have 165 lakes, the most popular being Lake Victoria, Lake Albert, Lake Edward, Lake Katwe, where we make salt from. And we have the waterfalls, most popular waterfall being Bujagari, where sort of the Nile River comes to go out to other countries. So it's to pour out to other countries, we have the Bujagari Falls. And this helps us to make hydroelectricity. We actually supply a lot of hydroelectricity to our neighboring countries. Then we have the hot springs. We have 7 of them, major ones, and others that we don't know of. The traditional people use them for healing. So when you go to those waters, you're healed. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. Maybe there are very many minerals and everything, so yeah. You're healed of any, in case you have rash or what, and you just bathe that water. For the ladies who love to make skin, amazing results. Then we have the national parks, 10 of them, and many other small zoos where we keep wildlife. We have a range of that. I think that's why Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa. And some of the things that you can do while in Uganda as a tourist, you can go for bird watching, which is in the Chidepo National Park and many other national parks. We have different species of birds that are not anywhere in this world, so you need to visit and see. Then we have sports fishing, boat riding, we have gorilla tracking, and chimpanzees, and we have game viewing, walking and trekking, mountain, there is like hiking, and then water rafting. So we have our friend here, most popular in Uganda. There are very many, and this guy is very intelligent. I mean, I've witnessed it myself. You visit a national park and he can literally like
mimic,
open for you, like peel for you a banana and give it to you, like, oh, please have some banana. It's so interesting. He welcomes people when you go there. They are not like really dangerous. They know visitors and they do dance for you. I love the way they take care of their babies. These kids are intelligent. And we have
greater lakes.
Lakes. These are lakes. We have one lake even looking like a foot of a person, like someone stepped. And then there's also the River Nile, water rafting, the Ginger Highway. And then these are one of the most popular hotels that tourists can stay in. I'll show you just like a short video of all these tourist places, like very, very. Okay. The lion, the equator crosses Uganda, and that is the reason why we have very, very good climate. Yes. Our friends, very nice. Again.
Uganda is one of the most naturally beautiful countries in its falling savannas. It's no wonder Winston Churchill dubbed this wonderful country the Pearl of Africa. From its climate, its people, national parks, hot springs, waterfalls, mountains, and this video, we are going to look at the 10 top tourist attractions in Uganda. Please do not forget to like and sharing this video with your friends and family. Number 1. Wendy Forest National Park.
So this is the first national park.
Southwestern Uganda on the edge of the Rift Valley. Wendy National Park is a wildlife sanctuary with its mist-covered hillsides blanketed by one of Uganda's oldest and most biologically diverse rainforests.
So waterfalls.
25,000 years ago. The forest is one of the richest ecosystems in Africa and contains about 400 species of plants, 350 species of birds, 120 species of mammals, and 320 mountain gorillas. Wendy National Park is one of the best places in the world to see mountain gorillas.
So most people go there for gorilla trekking.
Mount Rwenzori. A UNESCO heritage site, Mount Rwenzori, also known as Mountain of the Moons, is a mountain located in western Uganda, along the Uganda-Congo border. Standing at 5,109 meters, the equatorial snow peak shows the third highest point in Africa, with its lower slopes blanketed by moorland, bamboo, and rich moist.
So this is the only place in Uganda where you can see snow, otherwise you never see
The mountain has a national park, which hosts 70 mammals and 217 bird species, including 19 Albertine rift endemics, as well as some of the world's.
So people go here to hike and also bird watch.
Visit Uganda to climb the mountain. Number 3, the source of the Nile.
The most tourist attraction, source of the Nile. Everyone comes to see where the Nile comes from.
For many great civilizations in human history.
The movement of water is
Located
very.
southeast Uganda, in the city of Jinja, the area offers superb whitewater rafting and game fishing experience. Number 4, Queen Elizabeth National Park.
This was named after the Queen of England,
Located in western Uganda.
Queen Elizabeth.
Visit the park in Uganda. The park was established in 1954, and it is named after Queen Elizabeth II. With a diverse ecosystem, including the sprawling savanna, shady humid forests, sparkling lakes, and fertile wetlands, has made it an ideal habitat for classic big game, chimpanzees, and birds. Number 5, Murchison Waterfalls. Murchison Falls is a fantastic natural attraction.
Those are waterfalls, very good for just viewing. You don't swim here, otherwise you will die.
Murchison National Park. Square miles. It is in Murchison Waterfalls, that's where the Great River Nile squeezes through a narrow gorge before making a final fall, and then continues its journey onward to Egypt.
So this makes it final. The way the Nile stops here to go to other countries in Uganda, Action Falls. Okay, so most of the others are really national parks and very, very nice, interesting things to view in Uganda. But for the interest of time, I beg to stop here.
Number
Go back a little bit. Yes. So, thank you very much for listening. Kamsahamnida.